This is Blacked Out Reviews, and today we will be discussing a mystery, a murder, if you will, the murder of the summer blockbuster. Last year, I made a video that covered last year's box office failures, absolute all-time disasters, like to the point to where these movies are losing millions and millions of dollars, because last year The Flash lost $200 million, and with that CGI, my god, this is looking grim. Ruby Gillman had the worst box office opening for DreamWorks, and I swear to god, I will never understand why Disney released Haunted Mansion in theaters in July just to put it on Disney+. Then they lost $117 million added on. And then we have Fast X, which had a budget of $378 million, becoming the fourth most expensive movie ever made. Be in mind you, this is the same franchise where they have traveled to space. Why invest so much into this? And then we have Indiana Jones. Indy is by far one of my favorite characters and franchises of all time. I think the original movies, yes, including Crystal Skull, are some of the greatest action-adventure movies ever made, flaws and all. I know I especially love them more than that faker that we have now today. Seriously, I love the fact that in the actual video game, where they're on an old abandoned pirate ship, the ship automatically collapses and gets destroyed. But in the movie, they literally carry the old wooden ships by helicopter, and our heroes jump ship to ship fighting bad guys. While, be in mind you, those ships are in the air, hitting cliffs, and they still don't get destroyed. But I'm getting off topic. The point is, Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny had a budget of $300 million and had a loss of $134 million. Like, that is ridiculous. Straight up Looney Tunes. But like clockwork, we had another box office disaster with 2024 this year. I wanted to cover this not because I feel bad for these movie studios. Trust me, these boys are sitting pretty with their fat stacks of cash. This is more so a warning for what's to come in the decline of Western media, slowly turning into corporate sanitized content. So, breaking news. This year, I'm being dead serious, 2024, was the worst Memorial Day box office in decades. And let me tell you, there were worse movies that came out on Memorial Day that did not deserve such a great box office. We had movies like X-Men Last Stand and The Little Mermaid, and they were more successful than Furiosa. Hell, Flintstones 1994 did better. Like, what the fuck? And here's the thing, I'm not even that much of a Mad Max fan. Like, I seen Fury Road and I thought I fucking loved it. That was great. So best believe I was keeping my ear to the ground in hopes that this would be a success. I saw the positive reviews and most people who saw it really liked it. But nope, this movie is at the point to where it's guaranteed to flop. This is already a box office disaster, and it's just disappointing to see. I just hate it when a good movie fails at the box office, which in relation is what I talked about in my Fall Guy review. Go check that out after this video, because that movie essentially was supposed to kick off the summer and was made to be a box office hit. They had a great director, amazing action, and established IP, and hell, they even had Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, which both came off of successes from last year, being Oppenheimer and Barbie, which one made $1 billion and one barely almost made $1 billion. Like, it was set up to be a success, but it failed. Like, what the hell? But then again, there's a whole other issue with the whole death of the movie star, and that could, also contribute why, but let's not worry about that. Then we have If, which was supposed to be a fun family film with Ryan Reynolds, Steve Carell, and the boys. It looked like a fine movie, not like groundbreaking, but just dumb fun, I guess. Although people were not wrong when they called this a ripoff of Foster's Imaginary Home of Friends, or whatever the heck that was. And that show was like before my time. So even on a surface level extent of my knowledge, I could tell that this wasn't original at all. It was basically just banking on the star voice cast. I mean, and even worse, this movie had a budget of $110 million, and so far it had a box office of $160, and you might think that sounds good, but whenever a movie has a budget it's basically kind of like doubled because of marketing. And let me tell you, this movie was marketed out the wazoo. Like, I saw this movie everywhere. So trust me, it's not doing good. It's really not. Then we have other movies that aren't in the summer but are important to look at. I'm gonna be straight here. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I saw Frozen Empire. I reviewed it. I liked it. Thought it was alright. But here's the thing. This barely broke even. So that's kind of telling how even iconic franchises and their sequels aren't guaranteed box office successes. And then we have Argyle, which had a budget of $200 million. Not even including marketing. And it didn't even crack 100. If that's not sad, I don't know what will. Because being in mind you, this movie had a star-studded cast. It had the likes of Samuel Jackson, Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, and motherfucking John Cena. Let me repeat that to you. This movie had John Cena. But let's not all be doom and gloom over here, alright? There is potential and already proven success this year with movies. Dune Part 2 was a big hit. I saw it in theaters. I freaking loved it. It was peak fiction. Kung Fu Panda was also a success. And I mean, like, cool. And then we had Godzilla x Kong along with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Why are the monkeys doing so good? like they were box office hits. Did people just like seeing the monkeys? Recently we had the Garfield movie being successful, and I'm not gonna lie, like, this made me mad. Look, I don't want to sound like some gatekeeper that's like critical of the franchise. I mean, like, this is Garfield we're talking about here, so I don't want to be like super serious. But like, growing up, I had a whole ass like Garfield phase as a kid, believe me or not, but I actually did. Like, I genuinely like loved like reading the comic strips. I got like any mobile app I could get my hands on with Garfield. And being the fact that I grew up in Pittsburgh, I basically had Garfield's Nightmare at Kennywood back in the day. And whenever I saw this trailer, I hated that he had a dad for no reason. I hated that it just felt like a generic play it safe slapstick kids film. It doesn't even feel like Garfield. It just feels like a stupid adventure with Garfield slapped on for marketing and merchandise purposes. And it's just so weird because like last year Sony made Spider-Verse, and this is their next movie. I don't know, I don't want to harp on this too long, but my god. But, you know, it's whatever. On the other side, we still have a lot of summer movies that have a lot of potential to go. As of the time of this recording, Bad Boys Ride or Die had a pretty damn good opening, and I didn't even think it was going to do that good. I thought it was going to be like, alright, but no, this is great, because I've recently become a Bad Boys fan. I loved 1 and 2. I saw 3 in theaters, although I had like no knowledge of the series, and I gotta tell you, as a recent fan, I'm happy to see this. And then also later this year coming out, we have Twisters, which is a remake, again, like a remake of a popular franchise. Not even I don't know. I've never seen Twisters, man. I mean, like, it's probably gonna be a success. I don't know. And then, you know, we have easy money makers like Despicable Me 4, along with my most anticipated movie of the year, Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, if that flops, I swear to God, I'm rioting in the streets. You can confirm that I will. And this is the one I was waiting to talk about in the end. We have Inside Out 2. Now, this movie is obviously going to be a guaranteed success, no question there. And obviously, I'm hyped for it. I saw the first one in theaters. I love Inside Out. There you go. But, the reason why I put this last is because of a recent interview with Pete Docter. Be in mind you, this is the same man that directed Monsters Inc., Up, Soul, and the same original film Inside Out. And he said in an interview going forward that they are gonna, Pixar in general at large, they're focusing more on appealing to a wider audience and telling less personal stories. I'm sorry to say this, but isn't Pixar, you know, best and most critical and financial films based on the personal lives of the directors and its creators? And this basically stemmed from the fact that Pixar was looking at movies like Turning Red and Loops and Elemental, along with having a horrible opening, And I sound like a broken record because I stated this in many videos beforehand, but Disney themselves decided to release Soul, Luca, and Turning Red all on streamings, but first actually got released to the theaters. No wonder why they bombed. Like, are we joking right now? Like, is this a joke? And then along with that, they were also talking about how Elemental didn't have like a great opening. And being in mind you, Elemental is good. It's not great, it's nothing special, but it tells a really great personal story about immigration from the director's personal life. And that did so much better than Lightyear, which just feels like a soulless cash grab. And that movie is objectively a bad film. Like, Lightyear is garbage, not for the reason like grifters give it just because they have gay people in it. Look, Schaeferless Productions explains it way better in his video, but my point is that Pixar was regarded to have the most creative and imaginative ideas and in animation all throughout. And yeah, sure, its heydays is long past them, but they still make good to decent films. And now they're just kind of degrading to the state that Hollywood in general is at. Because the problem with Hollywood right now is just they're not at a point to where they want to make quality or groundbreaking films. They just want to play it safe and audience tested softballs that are not thriving to do something different, but just to rely on sequels and nostalgia bait. And I'm not saying I'm above all that. Trust me, I'm in the pig pen with the rest of you. I go see all this slop. I see it all. I gobble it up for breakfast like a fucking cereal mascot. But I'm sorry, but this is honestly sad. It's the same reason why you see so many movies nowadays just shilling out to advertising and product placement. And I mean, yes, obviously this isn't new, but it's just more obvious than it was before. Look, I don't have the answers. I'm not some business suit exec, but I feel like something needs to change, and it's better to voice my opinions on the issue than just to watch Hollywood just burn in front of me. I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I feel like there needs to be a change, and people need to be discussing this more, or else the problem is just gonna get worse and worse. Yeah, that's basically it for the video. I know that might sound bleak, but hey man, that's life. Get real, I guess. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and remember, I'm Blacked Out Reviews. I discussed it, so you don't have to.